Oh, I see. So you can pipe through that.
Yeah, yeah. And since it's local here, right, in the home, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So you found that little hook that pushes you through, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello automators, thanks for tuning in again. If you've been following Automate Your Life for a little bit, then you know that we put out a lot of videos. We're trying to put out a ton. And one of the reasons I actually did that was because there's so much in the smart home industry right now. And I want to give you that full outlook. I want you to see all the different options you have available to you and how successful you can be. The fact though is that I can't show you all of that on my own. And so I've been talking about building a community for a while here on the channel, and we're marching down that. We're making headway on that. And the way we're going to do that is this new series that we're producing on Automate Your Life. And that series is intended to give you the story about people who have automated their life and give you the story about their background, a little bit of where they came from, understand how they ended up where they did within their smart home and how they made the choices, and then what successes they've had. Suffice it to say, this is going to be a smart home tour of a gentleman named Frank Engelman, and Frank is highly successful with his smart home, and I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope you do too.
That's the first question. So what I was just going to say was, who are you? Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Frank.
Okay. So I'm retired engineer. I worked at Intel, and a lot of my focus there. At first, I started in IT, but then my focus became consumer products, and especially for seniors. We formed a joint partnership with General Electric and had a spinoff that did tracking their activities in the home to notify their kids if something was happening, like they went to the bathroom a lot or not enough, or they're not moving around, or they're getting up later.
Like, you really were doing this stuff back when you worked at Intel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but it was mainly the ones we worked with then were more residential communities, where there was a manager in there and they had support staff and all that.
That's a pretty good pass to come to, and then to
Yeah,
come into, to be able to do all of this. This is why you're able to help people so much. So that's
yeah,
great.
and I have a real interest in it. So, that's what, as we can talk in the future about the stuff that I'm doing, trying to help them in their homes.
So what was the first product you purchased, really?
That was probably X10, yeah, because it was the simplest thing, and it was just a motion sensor to do. What did I do with it? Did I turn on a light? I'm trying to think.
That's my question. That's the next question. Why? Do you remember why you did it?
Well, it must have been a light, but I can't even remember what the heck we had for X10 devices. I think I was doing a lot of more like motion tracking around, but I think I was just somehow collecting this stuff, but I don't remember anymore what I did with it. And then I had HAL, which is Home Automated Living, and HomeSeer, and
Yeah,
you,
lots of people use that.
do you remember that stuff? The power line bus,
Yep.
and switches. So all that kind of stuff. But I really got excited about this when, because that was all you had to be really into it to make that stuff work. And it was
Totally.
mostly PC based. And it wasn't until the little hubs came out and smart things and like ActionTiles to get a panel up there,
Hmm.
you know, that you could really make it that anybody could do it. You know what I mean? As you
Yeah.
said, automate your life, right?
That's right. That's right. It's finally the right time as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm right there along with you. Tell me a bit about your setup, and this is where I might ask you for a couple of those pictures again and
Sure.
stuff like that. So what products do you have in your home? Just the products, really.
Yeah, yeah. So Smart Things Hub, right, is the main thing. A lot of Alexa devices, from dots to shows to Fire TVs, um, and using for a smartphone just an iPhone, but I have Android phone too. Um, a lot of panels, as you saw, especially on the Fire TV. A lot of cameras. I got Nest, Ring, Wise, Blink.
Oh, wow.
Basically, I went through a lot of these to show people what would work, because the problem is when Amazon says works with, well, what they mean is you can say, show me the camera.
Yeah.
But that's not what people want. But they want, when there's motion on the camera,
Yeah.
put it up on the screen, right?
Yeah.
So right now, even today, unless you can prove me wrong, they don't support this. What they support is they'll give you a notification of motion. The Ring cameras will, ding, 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 and you can write a notification to say something, right? Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
Check the camera before you open the door, kind of thing, right? You know that?
Yep.
So what I've had to do, believe this is funny, because I've not found a way other than this. I have to have an Echo Dot run from notification and speak to the Fire TV to put it up there.
Yep. That's the only way. I mean, that's why I wrote that. That's why I did the video where I went between the Google Home and the Amazon Echo product, just because that's the way to trigger the two.
Yeah.
So the video itself is not that useful. But if you write like Paul, like you were talking about Paul, when he did his webhooks video where he has his little Echo Dot speak, you're doing it the only way that they really let you do it without, like you say, that home skill, right? Where you can start to build in that.
Yeah. So here's one thing, Open Silk.
Here is Silk.
And this is bringing up ActionTiles, right?
Oh, look at that.
Do you use that at all?
No, so this is something
for smart things.
So this is ActionTiles through Smart Things, which is really, I mean, it's giving you an interface to all your different cameras and then any information you want displayed as well, right?
That's right. So what I've got here is a bunch of Nest cams and a couple of Wise cams at the bottom there. The Nest cams are a little hard to get at speed, but
just real quick. So what you're doing there, you actually opened up the browser, so it's just set to that web page basically all the time, and it goes straight to that, which is your ActionTiles.
Yeah.
It's bringing up all your feeds, and you were saying the Nest cams are kind of hard to get at full rate.
Just that. A lot of people, ActionTiles has trouble with it, and so does TinyCam. Do you use that?
No, I haven't used TinyCam. Lots of people using that.
Yeah. So it can only do 1 frame a second. So what's funny is Fire TV, which I'm a huge proponent of that. I don't know if you use that, but
that's the one I use.
You can run TinyCam on there.
Yes.
It's actually an app.
Yep.
So with that app running, I can show my cameras there, of course, but it's also got a web server in it. So then it can serve up those cameras to like ActionTiles here.
Oh, I see. So you can pipe through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And since it's local here, right, in the home, so.
Oh, that's good. That's so you found that little hook that pushes you through, right?
Yeah.
Goodbye. I want you to.
Goodbye. Remember your phone, keys, and wallet. I will be waiting for your return.
So it's going to remind me to bring all my stuff, right?
You're in the dark.
The thing, what I call it, the mood lighting. So if you get up in the middle, older people get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom a lot. Who wants the lights to turn on full bright?
Nope.
That's what typical motion light, those cheap switches you put in there.
Yep.
But not mine. It knows between these hours it'll go to 20% lighting or whatever I want, right?
And you're doing that with Smart Things, right?
Yeah.
You're using the automation there with different times for different lighting scenarios.
Yep.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I have some follow me lighting, as you move around the rooms, that's nice. So that's made me feel good. Checking the locks, I found a way to do it, to actually check if the slider is locked, which is tough to get those to, the way they're not. You can't buy a, like a deadbolt lock for those that you can talk to, right? So I found the sensor that works on that if you have a certain kind of slider. Yeah, I've got some that are ultra thin. It's thinner than a pencil. It's thin as a emery board for your nails, like that, like a couple of those, and it fits just right under where that little latch comes in. It's locked.
Oh yeah, you gotta show us that, Frank. That's awesome. Little things that you've done, the ActionTiles, right?
Yeah.
And that's something, I mean, that is so successful for what I think a lot of people would then go and buy an Echo Show for. When I look at what you did with ActionTiles, I think that's one of the most powerful things I've seen in terms of like an HMI, right? And I talk about that every once in a while on the channel, but that's what you did. You created an HMI that you can just, hey, open this up, perfect, there it is, and I get all the information I want and all my cameras, whether or not they're at full rate or whatever, that doesn't matter. It's perfect.
And stuff is not true, because what I'm chasing now hard. I don't know if you or anyone has an answer, but on Echo Shows, if you use the web browser to go to any web page other than YouTube, it'll time out in 5 minutes. So whether you have a camera, a recipe you're trying to read, and do, or in my case, a panel, it'll close it down.
Okay, here we have our medication reminder lights. You can see it's changing colors. It's something to remind you if you were out of the room when your medication alert went off. It's kind of a pleasant light. It's going back and forth, but you'll notice it. And that way you can come back in and you could tell to turn the lights off, or got a big button here that you can just push.
Hello, Bernice. I'm turning off the eye drop reminder lights.
And there we go.
I talked to you about virtual switches. So in a classic thing, what you can make a switch, but what you can't make is a contact closure.
Okay.
And what you want, if you're going to trigger routines, is a contact closure or a motion sensor today, right? Because you can't trigger from a switch state, at least today, right?
Yeah, at least today.
So there's a device handler that you can load. I've thought of writing this up. I'm going to try. I'll see how bad it comes out. I think it might be a little advanced for what you want to promote. But there's a device handler that makes a device that looks like a switch and a contact closure at the same time.
Okay.
Device. So things can set it like a switch, because you can't set a contact closure, right?
Right.
You can set it like a switch, and then it acts like a contact closure, which is how I do my sunrise and sunset. So in Smart Things, it sets it based on the time, sunset.
Yep.
It sets this virtual switch, what it thinks is a switch, but Alexa sees it as a contact closure.
So then she triggers your whole routine for the morning based off of the right sunrise time that Smart Things does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you've like seriously tied these systems together, and I would say in a way that's native enough that I don't think you're going to have real problems.
Where she can, if she can't say Alexa, call her son, if she has trouble, she can just hit this thing and it'll send him a text, right?
Oh, okay. Just a simple button text notification sent.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. I mean, you've got tons of things you're doing for people, and that's, I want to have you back. I want to have this conversation again and have you back and talk about those things, because that's what I want people to realize too. That's where we're headed. We can actually help people now. It's not just, very specific things that we have to create so specially. You've found some great devices because you found those kinds of sensors that are the important ones, right? Yeah.
Oh, I got another thing too. I got to show you. Oops. So these kind of things, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that a tile?
Yeah, so this is a Chipola one. So, with these, but you can use your phone to find this thing, whatever it is, your glasses or your keys or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But this brand has a separation alert. So if I leave my phone in the
Oh.
car or at home, and I have this on something that I always have, like my keys, or else I can't drive, right? Then this thing will alert me that I don't have my phone.
Oh, so so what is this? What is that? What is that thing right there? What is that cake?
This here, it's a little tile.
Okay, and there's two components to that?
It's got a means of here. Let's see if I turn my Bluetooth off on my phone here.
Oh, it's a Bluetooth
Yeah.
connector to your phone, so it stays. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
when they're
it
apart,
knows that it's lost its connection. So let's see if this works here. Doing an onstage demo here.
that's always dangerous. Trust me.
Yeah, I've done a few of those, or especially when the CEO is out there and you're backstage, working equipment, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you hear it there?
Yep.
Yeah. So
that
lets
was
me
the
know that
actual.
my phone is out of range.
That was the actual sensor there telling you, "Hey, I don't got connection." Now, is your phone telling you something too?
Well, since I turned the Bluetooth off here, yeah, it will. Yeah.
What is your favorite automation that you've ever set up?
I guess for me, it's when I say goodbye, like I'm going to pick up the kids at school, the grandkids. She says, "Wait, have you got your phone, your wallet, and all this stuff?" She reminds me of that, and so I have to go there.
What do you want to do? What would you love to do with your next automation? Like the next thing you want to do?
Well, the next one is way too hard, is tracking the person around the home and noting when things are out of spec, if you will. So that one I've started, but I've got bogged down with the data manipulation. So I put that one aside. I guess work on a better way to get cameras to automatically appear on something,
Yep.
Maybe maybe I can find a way to force it on the Fire tablet. I don't know. I've just started playing with Fire tablets again, and they're kind of interesting because the screen won't time out on there. Silk stays up on there watching my panel.
Yep.
So they're a little different character. So
the first one you said, occupancy sensor, is a different thing than a motion sensor.
Yeah. See. So I'm trying to work with the company that's made the fall detector for the bathroom, which is not truly a motion sensor. It's more like an RF sensor that sees the pattern has changed.
Yep.
Use that. And so I've got a standalone one here working with plugged into a Raspberry Pi, which is it's getting complicated now, right? Yeah. I need to get them to put that inside this little box they have.
Just a little box, please.
That will detect me if I'm sitting here, stationary. Okay.
Yeah.
So then he's really here in this room.
You wanted to be able to trigger your video on
have it display on something, right? Sort of like what the Google Home Hub does with the Nest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it only does it with the doorbell push,
the
right?
Hello. Yep.
Yeah.
Only the
doesn't do it off emotion. Hello.
Nope. You could just come on, guys.
Come on.
It's exhausting. Yeah. But you could do it with a notification to a tablet, any Android tablet, and have it pull up for sure, utilizing Tasker, which again is what Paul has created. And Tasker, actually, when you just have to play with it for a little bit.
I've looked at it some, but to me, when I look at it, is this something that I can pass on to somebody that I can describe in a few words how to do it? No.
No. Well, I think you just answered this. So what struggles have you had with those devices? I think that's what you just answered.
Yeah. And the struggles that I have with helping other people, like it's one thing to set it up for yourself. If you set up a calling, of course, communication, right? And if you've done it for anybody else, try doing it for a senior that you want to do it for your grandma, and she has no smartphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Alexa communication requirements are a different Amazon account, with Alexa, and a unique phone number, right?
Yeah.
But the real problem is that phone number has to be able to receive a text to complete the setup. You need a unique phone number. So people have been running into all this problem. So even though they can take their smartphone out there, they can't use that number. So what I've written up is you get a Google free phone number, and use the Google Voice number.
Yeah.
To set it up.
Which is that's exactly where my head went, right? That's Google Fi, I think it is.
No, it's just called Google Voice.
Okay.
Voice, and it's free.
What automation do you wish existed but doesn't exist yet?
Well, I like to be able to trigger off a state of a light switch, changing, or an outlet changing, state, or asking, so, is this on or off? I can't do that. That's really missing.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. There's no, so, we, in the automation world, we had DIDO, so digital in, digital out. And every device, or most devices, you had a digital input that was your status. So that came into the controller as your status. I've turned on that light. So my output was turn it on. My input is, yes, that actually did work and it did turn on.
Oh, yeah? You actually got that back, huh?
Feedback.
Yeah. This is kind of crummy, but I've had to do things like have a clone of the device in a virtual switch so I can read it back. So I've got the physical thing, and then I have to read it back with the clone of it being a contact.
Do you ever find they become decoupled?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the main thing I tried this on is remotely on my aunt's garage door, because she's got a MyQ garage door controller, but I don't have a contact sensor there. But for $1 a month, I can get a MyQ service into IFT, okay?
Yep.
So it can tell me when it's opening or when it's closing.
Yeah.
And then I have to use that to keep a status of it, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the question is that real? It's not the same as a contact sensor there.
It's not. That's the thing, right? That was actually one of the genius pieces. That's why I wanted to review the Miros garage door opener. It's just a Wi-Fi device. So there's nothing fancy about it. And truly, it's just a sawn-off. It's just a sawn-off switch. It's a pulse. It's not even a pulse. It just closes the loop for you when you want to shut your door. But what it also had was contact sensor feedback that sat on the door. And so I know I send the signal, and then I know that it's open. It tells me it's opening. And it doesn't do that by saying the signal was sent. It does it by the contact sensor.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here.
So what is the contact sensor? Is it
just
or Z-Wave or what?
It's this. So they hardwired it. It's a hardwire all the way back to the sawn-off, the controller, really, that just sits up on the top.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you notice the SmartThings the new mobile app has a little bit of logic in it, right? So I'm using that when I ask it to check whether the doors are closed.
Mm-hmm.
I've got this thing at night that I can run, and I check to see if the doors are closed. Because what's funny is, I got to tell you, when I'm old, you get into bed and you say, now, I know I went over there and checked that door, but did I really? And so now I can just ask Alexa, say, oh, the door's locked? She says, mm-hmm. No, it's good. What's funny, there's just one came up today. This person says, I've got Echo shows in every room of my house, but at night they're driving me crazy. It's like the whole house is lit up, and I know I can tell each one to turn the screen off. But isn't there a better way?
Mm-hmm.
And there is a way to put them into the do not disturb mode, right?
Yeah.
But you can schedule that.
You just schedule it on the screen, right? Just
Yeah. Or you can write a routine to do it,
yeah.
To tell all of them to do it.
Yeah.
But people don't know those things. And, as I'm looking out there and the moderators aren't answering, and I think, well, where are these people going to go to get those questions answered? So is that the kind of thing that you want to do on your
yes
stuff, or do you want to?
So this is exactly what I want this to kind of parlay into, these kinds of things, because when you see the outro for this, what you're going to see is you're going to see me say, you know what, thanks to Frank for coming on and talking with me about all his stuff. And, there's probably some things here that you heard that you want to see how he did it. And as we go forward, what I want to do is start asking people, well, is there something within your house setup that you're really struggling with? And put that forward. And I almost want to create a forum board here. So I've been actually talking to someone where we go and we create an automation community, and we get a number of YouTube creators in there, people like yourselves who are good resources. And then we start building a community.
Or like Paul.
Yes.
That you reference him a lot, I know.
Yeah. Paul, I'm going to ask Paul to come in. Probably going to ask Rob from the Hookup to come in. Those guys are great resources in and of themselves. I know Brett from Tech with Brett as well. And you could start to develop a community on your own, right?
Yeah, because the ones that if you just Google search around, you get into Reddit and all that, and you get a lot of random stuff.
So guys, honestly, after getting off the call with Frank, I was so impressed. I mean, that's a pretty smart guy who's been doing it a little while, but that's not the point of this series. How we automate it's about how each of us do this and our successes, our failures, what we want to do next. And I'm going to talk to people, and you saw within the conversation there with Frank, I gave a couple of suggestions. So as I'm sitting on these phone calls, I'm giving suggestions to people. And so what I want to do is I want to open this up. Number one, if you saw something on that video that you really want to see how to do for your own home, ActionTiles was extremely powerful on that video. Go ahead, leave that down in the comments below and we'll do that. And the other thing is, if you want to see your own smart home or you want to tell part of your story, that's what I want to do. We're opening it up to Automate Your Life subscribers. We have a number of our patrons who are already signed up to do this, because I think this is the best way for all of us to start learning about all these different things that we can do with our smart homes in not necessarily expensive ways. Some of the things that Frank did were extremely inexpensive. So guys, go ahead, leave that down below, or you can head to the About page on Automate Your Life and send us an email about you wanting to actually come and have a video conference with me. I walk you through the process. It's not very hard. And I just ask you some questions that you saw me ask Frank, and we put together a video about your smart home setup. So thanks for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm excited about this series, and I hope you are too.